Hey guys, this is Allison from AllyKatzkreations. How are you? Oh, what a day. Beautiful, gorgeous day. I want to thank all the service members who have died to keep America free, even though it's not. But your sacrifice is dutifully noted. And I thank all the service animals and all who have lost their lives. And there's a reason why I say that, and it's not to deplete or demean anybody in service at all, because I give utmost respect to anybody who serves their country, no matter where you are. But there's an illusion of what freedom is. And most of them fought for things that they were lied to, and so are we. So last night at about 12:30-ish, give or take, my neighbor across the street, humongous noise, like what the hell is going on? And I mean, you know, it's a holiday weekend, there's fireworks going off, there's drunk people going up and down the block, souping up their cars and motorcycles. So of course, I'm just like, what the hell? A neighbor messaged me because I have a huge tree in front of my house and I couldn't see across the street. Apparently someone stole a catalytic converter off my neighbor across the street's car. That's been happening all around New York. And then you call the cops and nothing happened. Sorry. Did somebody capture it on their Ring doorbell? I don't have one of those, but I do have a security cameras that I had bought a while ago, but never had it installed because of how technically crazy it would have been to rip my walls apart to put wires through. And no, so what was I trying to do today? Make it look like I have outdoor ones. So make it look like I have cameras, even though they're not. Didn't work, failed effort, tried. So I have to keep my ear out my window, and I have a plethora of weapons I will chuck out my window and hope and pray I have good aim, and I usually do, if there's anybody trying to do something to my car or property. So that was kind of the sum of my day. So many people have covered this book. I am not going to read this book for the fact that it is edited so that there is an author in a sense that puts their insights in there. And I don't want to get yelled at. So what I figured I would do, like the Law of One and everything, I would give my insights, but also I could read off of other people's articles that I can do. The Kybalion, the Three Initiates, the Hermetic philosophy. Now, this is important. It bridges not only the Emerald Tablets, but it does bridge other books that I've been reading. Before I get deep into the Kybalion, please help me hit that like button, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you have it within you, to give me a love donation and to help me out and support my work. The information will be in the drop box below. This is probably my last month. And I know I keep saying that, and miraculously I sell something and I can pay my bills, but really for real, I'm probably done by this end of this month. So if things don't happen and, you know, I don't get help, I don't have internet. And I'm at a loss. I know this is the new moon. Tonight is the new moon. And I'm going to project happy, great thoughts, but I've been doing that for 8 months, just about 8 months. And still, things are not where they should be. And the undaunting task of packing everything up and trying to put my house up for sale is the goal. But the goal is also, where the hell do I go in the meantime? Because I don't have any money to rent a house or to get an Airbnb, and who would take my cats, and where do I put my furniture? And that's expensive, and all of that costs things. I just don't even have the money in my account for any of that. So yeah, just being realistic, not being negative. So if anybody can help me, that would be great. My insights on the Kybalion. The Hermetic philosophy, the 3 initiates. So I'm going to give a little background about the book. And again, I want everybody to understand and perceive something. I get it on Telegram a lot. There are a lot of people who have never heard of this book. Even though there's a lot of us, okay, there's a lot of people who know about this book, who've read it cover to cover, up and down, and actually go by it because it's sounded by sound principles, right? Oh, it's incredible. But a lot of people have not been exposed to this book. So mind those, if you are well versed and studied in this book, please write some good comments. I suggest that everybody buys this. It's a small, it's not small, but it's a nice light read. It's not too difficult to understand. The concepts are loaded, which I'm going to unpack a little bit today. And I'm only going to go over 3 principles today. It's a lot to unpack. And I have a tendency to keep going over more than an hour, which is fine, but sometimes I can get carried on. So I'm going to read you what I have in my notes. In the intro, the Kybia in Greek, possibly known as lexicon or dice game. So that's what they broke down what Kybalion means, because they don't know where that word had originated from. It could have been written in whatever, you know, the Hermetic. It's not a language because it's Aramaic. It was Semitic. There's like so many languages spoken at that time, and the closest one that they could come to that word is Kybia. There may also be a mystical Jewish connection to the Kabbalah, but again, it doesn't come really close. It does, but it doesn't. So in essence, the teaching of Hermes Trismegistus, or Thoth. And I did the Emerald Tablet series. So this, if you listen to that, you should be aware. It composes of the 7 principles. Mentalism. The all is the universe at large is mental. Correspondence. as above, so below, as below, as above. We hear that a lot. Vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Where did we keep hearing that from? Oh, yeah, the loved one. Polarity, and this will be in the next video. Everything is dual. Everything has poles, pairs of opposites. Love one again. Rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. 6, cause and effect. I just read about that in the key of destiny. And also the mastery of destiny has a portion of what that cause and effect is. Different perceptions. But both of those books cover that. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Gender. Gender is everything masculine and feminine. Principles. Gender manifests on all planes. Now, to be politically correct, back in the time when the Emerald Tablets was composed, okay, you either had a male part or a female part. And even if you were born with both, it was still either a female part or a male part, and you could encompass both. Unless you are a gray or one of the other alien extraterrestrial races who has more than one gender, still both they're male and female. That's how they reproduce. That's how we are creators. FYI. Creators of life. Not all of us have children. I don't plan on having them either. But I create art. And I, unbeknownst to me, depict vibrations in light on my work. So the roots could be found in corpus hermeticum or a hermetic body. Quote, the hermetic teachings are that not only is everything in constant movement and vibration, but that differences between the various manifestations of the universal power are due entirely to the varying rate and mode of vibrations. Modern science has proven that all that we call matter and energy are but modes of vibratory motion. When it comes to American occultism, the Kybalion is one of many central 20th century texts, which includes spiritualism. It also known in Rosicrucian and Hermetic circles of New Age thought. And this is where a lot of people get steered off into the Satanism and the Luciferianism stuff. With many of these, my co-host is coming up. Let's just talk about mentalism. Okay. So if anybody watches Morgue Official, he has, oh no. Okay, because I have too many. I have a cat distraction, and then I had something that makes a lot of noise distraction. The word will come to me. But he talks about the monad and the mind, and that we come from mathematics. So logically, things, you know, in low logic, so that's true. The world is mathematical. Everything is mathematical. And then we have correspondence. That's within and without, outside world, inner world. I don't see anything Satanist about that. Vibration. Ra talks about that. Ra is not satanic. And I'm putting this out there because there's a lot of people who question, like, New Age, what would some call paganism? Let me tell you something. A lot of people have this, this is science. This is physics. This is quantum entanglement, quantum mechanics, cause and effect. If you do something, you're going to have an effect, whether it be inward or outward. It's cause and effect, science. All of this is science. And the problem is, people before, they all hated each other, all the tribes, but they all had a notion, an understanding of what frequency, vibration, music. They understood the healing powers. They understood the components and connections to nature and within themselves. Somewhere along the line, we completely got X'd out of that scenario because, oh, you can't know your potential. You can't go within yourself to find yourself because we're going to tell you that something else is going to come save you when it's really yourself. And not to say that there isn't a spiritual component that doesn't come and help, but you have to help yourself and you have to do the work. And if you do the work, cause and effect, you change your outer circumstances, you put and speak out in vibration to the universe. I would like my life to change. I would like to be abundant. I would like financial security. I would like to have a job that I can do that I love, that I can help and serve others. Whatever have you. And I say this all the time, trying in hopes that I'm vibrating right to manifest it in the physical, the matter, the material world. There's nothing satanic about any of this. When people talk about the occult or new age, what are you, jealous? They had a better understanding about all this stuff than anybody else did. It just got axed because, ooh, it's evil. No, it's not. It's the intentions you put into something that makes it evil. Norse culture. I'm trying to link how the Norns who spun the web of fate, and that's not the only mythical deities who spun fate and made the web of fate or whatever have you. Multiple cultures have their stories about past, present, and future, whatever their names may be, spinning fate. They understood quantum entanglement. They understood the law of the universe. They understood cause and effect. They understood when looking at a person and looking at the astrology and looking at everything. They understood those things and they mapped people out. That's why you can go to an astrologer. Not everything's going to resonate with you, but a lot does. I'm a freaking Aries, but then I am also a Leo and a Sagittarius in the majority of my sign, in majority of my planets. I'm a rising Virgo, and half of the rest of my stuff is water. Fits me to a T. I'm a spicy bitch. So we have to look at this book and understand, and other, it's not just this book, it's so many other books. We have to stop stereotyping books that have the knowledge in it to help you for real, and making it and deeming it evil because it says occult in there. I find it interesting with the other books, Keys to the Universe, Key of Destiny, The Mastery of Destiny, and some Manly P. Hall also work. Like the Kybalion, they add a quasi-scientific approach to bridge science and the esoteric. The Keys of Enoch does the same thing. There's mathematical equations and biochemistry in the Keys of Enoch. It maps out so many things. Just saying. The Hermetic philosophy, the home is Egypt, the secret doctrine held by hierophants and adepts of that time. What a correlation that in Awaspe, the different periods of adepts spread to all cultures of earth, where those with the ears to hear spread the secrets. Emerald tablets, pyramids, where everybody goes to for healing and for learning. It's like the big grand school, right? You learn and then you're spread out. Awaspe, same thing. Entities went to Krishna, and all their angels went through all the schooling, the nurseries, and in the hospitals and the factories, and you learn all these things, all and do it all. And then when you're done, you're up. Sorry, you already advanced. Now you're gonna go teach that in the other universe over there. This isn't something that just stayed in Egypt. It shows up in so many other cultures. It might not be with its name, but it's from the Atlantean era, the time frame that Thoth existed. That Thoth most likely found out how to escape death. But they call him Hermes. Is a master of masters, claimed founder of the astrology and alchemy. The claim is made that Hermes may have lived 300 years in human form. The god status name we know today is Thoth. The Greeks called him Hermes, the god of wisdom. The Egyptians called him the scribe of the gods. As we have the emerald tablets, though throughout history, the philosophy and teachings had to go secret, especially when Constantine butchered a lot of what was in the Hermetic teachings. It went quiet, but it wasn't lost. You can thank Constantine for a lot of the edits that happened in the Bible and all the texts that were of its original translations. Because remember, what something means in Aramaic might not be translated to Greek, so they use the Aramaic into Greek, the closest thing that will resonate with it, but could it be the original meaning? Who knows? Who knows what the original finite Aramaic words were? Because then it was butchered and chopped up into different languages, and you do lose translation. And I could tell you from living in New York and talking to many people that English isn't their first language, they can't even find the terminology in their language to translate an emotion. I have to like pluck out what they're feeling. Oh yeah, Allison, but in my language, it's less words and it's a lot. Anybody who speaks two languages fluently could tell you that there are things that cannot be translated properly. Things can come close, but not exact. So just keep that in mind. He was an evil man. Necessary because we all had to wake up, but still. The Hermetic teaching constituted principles, the art of Hermetic alchemy. Though focusing on the mind, its mental forces, not of the material. The quote, the transmutation of one kind of mental vibration into others instead of changing of one kind of metal into another, end quote. The collection of wisdom is given through maxims, axioms, and precepts of the Kybalion. I find it very interesting. A lot of this work, when I first read it, and I read it a long time ago, I'm rereading it. The significance about going within, and especially right now, is very significant. And I feel like this is why I want to take the time. And a lot of people have, again, ripped apart this book to like really go in depth with it. But I feel touching upon it on this channel for those who really haven't heard about this book, and then you can do your own research and go read. I'll give some places to look to get more of a meatier meaning. But I think it's very, very, very potent that you grasp that a lot of this work is within. And a lot of this understanding is identifying within. So I'm going to go over the 7 Hermetic principles. And then I'll break down I'm going to break down 3 of them. My notes are all jumbled. So the first principle is the principle of mentalism. Quote, the all is mind. The universe is mental, end quote. Quote, the substantial reality underlying all the outward manifestations and appearances, the material universe. Quote, all phenomena of life, matter, energy, all that is apparent to our material senses is spirit. The all is subject to the law of created things. Through mind, we have the material manifested. The principle of mentalism is the first key to unlock the mental and psychic knowledge within ourselves. It defines the true nature of power, matter, and energy, which aids in the mastery of the mind in totality. This principle brings us closer to the mind of the divine nature, being one with the universe, coming, the purpose for existence, the power of thought, mental alchemy, transforming one's own state of mind, including influence those of others. You can view this as altering our thoughts plus beliefs. We have the ability to be infinite, to become pure consciousness that was, is, and will be the universal mind. I am that I am. This is an interesting to be the first, is to understand that you and I and everything are all one and the same, that we are a part of the universe and the universal consciousness that exists and reverberates throughout time space. That what touches on the alchemy of transmuting. So and it goes in, I mean, and it hits on all the other principles, but in essence, when you are thinking good thoughts, you are receiving good energy. You're putting out good energy, you're receiving good energy. And things start to materialize, but within and without. But in essence, it's the hardest one for a lot of people to even note, because they don't believe that they are a fractal and are a part of God, creator, the infinite being, the monad, whatever you want to call it. It's pure consciousness. It's energy. All of it. And we have to understand that first principle to understand ourselves, to go deep within and know that we are divine, that we are all one and the same, that all is mind, all is consciousness. The universe is mental, and the material world is manifested through our thoughts and consciousness, and on an individual and a collective. So when people keep saying, please raise your vibration and visualize the world in which you want to live in, that's because you can start manifesting the world that you want to live in. Though if a collective did it, so those people who are in those communities in Tibet and in other places that do mass meditation and mass guided meditation for world peace, and you have hundreds of thousands of people sitting in unison and thinking and visualizing the same thing, what do you think the result's going to be? Peace, calm, on a scale that reverberates throughout the universe. So it's a very, very powerful first principle, mentalism. It's mental alchemy. It's transmuting what doesn't work for you and putting something in and transforming into something that does. And we could see that with the Master of Destiny, changing your mindset. There's a lot of books about mindsets, and you know, when you catch yourself thinking negatively, stop, acknowledge it, release it, and then change the way you're thinking and be logical about it. Not everything is going to be rosy and sunshines and rainbows. That's not how life is supposed to work, because we do live in a duality. You have to acknowledge the negative. You have to embrace it and understand in this reality, material reality, we have to deal with both. We have the principle of correspondence, which flows into the principle of mentalism. As above, so below. As below, so above. The planes, the plane, that is, what? The planes is density and dimensions beyond our comprehension. And knowing and applying the principle of correspondence to understand this axiom, this can also correspond with seeing beyond the veil, the knowledge of the known and unknown, seen and unseen things, things that still exist, yet one cannot see in a metaphysical sense. So we can think about the notion of as above, so below is in the universe and into inner earth. We can look at it that way. I had to peep out my window because I heard some things. I'm on high guard. So with the principle of correspondence, I got this off of Wikipedia and it's another take. In physics, the correspondence principle states that the behavior of systems described by the theory of quantum mechanics or by the old quantum theory reproduces classical physics in the limit of large quantum numbers. See, science. This maxim establishes the harmony between the physical and the mental plane. All planes of existence are connected and in correspondence, the micro and the macrocosm. You can also look at it as omnipresent, omniscient. I would also think about this in terms of the butterfly effect. Somewhat. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. The inner world is the cause, the outer world is the effect. The seen, the unseen. Your inner self, your outer self. Your toroidal field, your biofield. Because the next principle is vibration, but let's just think about it, that we have our being, we have our chakras, and the law of when we talk about the rays and balancing all of our energy centers, because we magnetize both poles. We have a positive and a negative pole, or it could be positive, negative, whatever the case is. You have a magnetic field and you're illuminating, because you're a bioluminescent human being, you just can't see it because it's low frequency. You are frequenting, you are projecting, you are giving out. The higher your vibration is, it affects your outer world. To your inner world, outer, inner, outer, inner, outer, inner. You take in, you come and get it received back. It's flow of energy. It's all science, guys. Now, my favorite principle, the principle of vibration. Nothing rests everything moves, everything vibrates, everything. The notion that everything is in motion, vibrates, and nothing is at rest. This principle explains all the differences with different manifestations of matter, mind, energy, and spirit, all having varying rates of vibration. The law of one talks about the rays, the octaves, the frequency, all of which vibrate. Think the circle of fifths. How you pluck a guitar string. Visually, matter vibrates lower and spirit vibrates rapidly. There are varying degrees of vibration between each poles. So again, my analogy that I always like to bring up, if I pluck a string to an instrument, a stringed instrument, it's vibrating, but it never stays unless it stays at rest. But even then, it still vibrates, but you cannot perceive it. Just like a cat, just like us, we are always vibrating everything, because there's photons, there's neutrons, there's quarks, there is atoms, there are molecules, everything keeps instantly moving. Even physical matter, there's always constant movement. We just can't, in the stream of our sight, see it. So if you pluck a string and it's vibrating, I always say that, you know, the lower end is the sub octave of 3. And then you have your mid range where you have your sub octave. And then you have your fourth, your octave. But you're still bouncing between the 3. And sometimes the vibration might be small or really, really, really fast. Everything has its own frequency and vibration. WanderingAlchemist.com has something interesting that I would like to say. Well, read. Vibration has 3 characteristics in science. Vibration can travel, hence amplitude. How fast it can travel, frequency. And speed at which it travels, acceleration. These characteristics describe the back and forth motion of the particles and atoms that form all matter, physical and metaphysical. My favorite quote from Tesla: if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Damn straight, Tesla, you were right. 369 in the house. To the alchemist, the principle of vibration is a master key to the understanding everything created in the universe. It helps to control one's own mental vibration and of others. And this is from sacredtext.com. The universal ether, extreme tuinity and elasticity, and pervades universal space, serving as a medium of transmission of waves of vibratory energy, such as heat, light, electricity, magnetism. The ethereal substance is a connecting link between the forms of vibratory energy known as matter. On the other hand, an energy or force on the other, and also that it manifests a degree of vibration in rate and mode entirely its own. So we absolutely can see that the first 3 principles all interlace within each other. All of it. Because without correspondence, without having vibration, you wouldn't exist. The monad, the mind, wouldn't be able to manifest, because you need to have vibration, you need to have frequency, you need to have the acceleration, you need to have the spirit within the matter, matter within spirit, as above so below. all is a magnetized duality. And we'll talk about that the next time, because the next part is polarity. My second favorite topic besides vibration. They might be equal though. It is very interesting, to say the least, how all the other books are starting to reverberate its own vibration within each other. How elements, whether you want to say that one book has it more right than the other book, the concepts alone combined and everything that I read are all starting to loop back into each other. It's a feedback loop. They all have a running theme within each other, whether it be the Law of One, whether it be the Keys of Enoch, whether it be Awaspe, the Urantia book, the Keys to the Universe, the Key of Destiny, the Mastery of Destiny, Manly P. Hole as well, all speak on the connection of the energy, the universe, and us. Tesla understood this. And so did a lot of other people. So when we start understanding that they had this knowledge, and where did they get it from? Well, they got it from philosophy that people deemed evil. Well, what happens if everything was inverted so that you wouldn't read what they deemed evil? And oh, but it's evil. Look, I'm not saying that you can't use it for evil. Of course you can, but you can also use it for good. And you got to pluck out what works for the good side. I'm reading Manly P. Hall. That's the next book I'm tackling. I'm almost done with The Destiny of America. Oh, The Secret Destiny of America. Oh, but he's a Mason. And what? Oh, but they're evil. Okay, but his information is different from everything else that I've read. He might be onto something though, and he might be right. Just because somebody's affiliated with something doesn't make them wrong. Just because you don't want to believe in ancient Egyptian alchemy and Atlantis and all that, not all that stuff, you don't have to believe it's real, but people that do consciously grow because they're learning from those teachings that were left behind. And those are the same teachings that gave the power to the negative polarity, because they hid these teachings from us, but now they're becoming more mainstream, and more people are being exposed to it. And that is another reason why I'm bringing it forth, to explore it, to compare it, so that more people who think it's an evil book, oh, that's evil, it's hermetic. Well, do you know what that means? In the beginning of this video, I outline what it means. So the next video I'm going to be doing, probably the next 4 principles. And then I'll wrap up how they all correspond together. I don't want to go too heavy into the physics or the metaphysics. I don't want to lose anybody yet. So I'm just keeping it simple. I'm reading some stuff to keep you engaged. but I want to keep everything so that a person, again, guys, there's a lot of different people who watch my channel, and a lot of people that I get a lot of questions privately from are people who have never, like, don't even know these books exist. So it's trying to keep things simple, but keeping those who are already in the know engaged. So I hope you, those of you who are like very well studied on that, like understand and understand that we're trying to transition as many people as we possibly can into our paradigm, into the reality that we're trying to move into, that we're trying to manifest a material world that we will be embarking on soon. We can't do that with the small amount of numbers, and it might seem really large, the community, but it is small compared to the mass whole. So we need a transition team. I'm a part of that team, transitioning people into the knowledge. Then I'll throw them to the much wiser and much well-versed people. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this first part of the Kybalion, the Hermetic philosophy, the 3 initiates by Hermes. I always butcher his, the full name. Trismegistus. But plenty to discuss. Please leave comments. Any of my videos, you guys can leave comments. What does mentalism, correspondence, and vibration mean to you? And I'm going to tie them in a little bit more, but in order to do that, I want to go through the others because it's polarity, rhythm, cause and effect. Gender is the least of my concerns. Because polarity really embraces that. It's different, but it masculine, feminine, poles. Keys to the universe, guys. So just want to put that out there. These are my insights. I will leave the links to the websites that I got some of the extra information that I thought would help explain better some of these. But I want to tie it into a whole, and then to do that, it would be a very long episode. So I won't keep you guys much longer. Please consider helping me out. I really appreciate it. At least hit that like button. Sending each and every one of you love and light. I hope you had a very healthy and safe Memorial Day if you're in the United States. Please keep safe. I stopped listening to so many people because dates are no longer of importance to me. I'm not going to care anymore. I live in the moment. Trying, at least. Putting my faith forward. See, I have so many noisy neighbors and I never know what goes on. I don't want to be that old lady that stares out the window at people. But what have you? Have a brilliant night, wherever you are in the world. Have a great day. Love and light, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.